This overall is an excellent drill, but there's one thing that really bugs me about it. Let's talk about it. Overall, I think this is a pretty good drill. So let me start by telling you what I like about it. So first of all, it seems to be really high quality. I mean, this metal chuck is really nice. These numbers for the clutch are very easy to read. I really like that. Same with the speed selector. That's easy to read as well. This is model number 2407-20, and it has this metal chuck, which is a 3/8 inch ratcheting chuck. It's really nice. This thing has 2 speeds and a 16 position clutch. It has this belt clip, and it came with all that. In fact, it came with, I believe, 3 batteries, a charger, a bag. It came with this drill, of course, and it had the rotary tool, an impact driver, and the one-handed recip saw, otherwise known as the hakzall, non-fuel version of all of these. So one thing that I like is that the light stays on for a couple seconds. It doesn't go off immediately as soon as you let go of the trigger. Okay, and as normal with the M12 platform, there's no battery gauge on the battery, so you have to pull the trigger and it shows you the battery life right here on the side of the tool. So this thing does well for a lot of stuff around the house. I mean, it has its limitations. The chuck isn't as big as, say, the M18 hammer drill, for instance. It's not going to have as much power as something that size, but you could put up shelving in your garage. You could do a lot of things around the house with this drill. So I tested this thing in several different projects. One of them was drilling through porcelain or ceramic tiles, can't remember which. Another one I was drilling through old plaster and lath walls, and today I was using it to put up a shower curtain rod. And it does pretty well for tasks like this, but there are times when it could make your life a little harder, and that's because of that one quality that I mentioned earlier that annoys me, and that is when you pull the trigger, it doesn't do anything. You slowly pull the trigger, nothing happens, and then all of a sudden it zooms into action. So regardless if you have it in speed 1 or speed 2, you pull the trigger and it just starts up really fast. Case in point, I normally would drill the holes with a drill and then drive my screws with an impact, but I wanted to try to do this entire project just with this drill. I wanted to use this drill for this entire project, and I ended up overdriving these screws and cracking the drywall. In Milwaukee's defense, I could have used the clutch in order to avoid overdriving those screws, but it would really be nice to just have a trigger that you have a little more control over. Sometimes you have the screw almost where you want it, and you just want to give it just another little nudge, and you don't want it to go swirling around 500 times. I want to show you what I mean and compare it to this old ryobi drill. So I put a piece of orange tape on here, I pull the trigger, it started making, the lights came on, now it's making noise, still it's not going anywhere. Okay, compare that to this one. Size-wise, I think it's a little bit thinner than the ryobi here. Maybe just a little bit shorter, but that's going to depend on what battery you pop in here. One difference is that it is significantly shorter than the ryobi. But here's where things start to get a little bit weird for me. I would think that one of the things you would want a 12-volt drill for is to get in tighter spaces. But look at this Gen 2 M18 drill. This is the hammer drill, and it's actually maybe like 3/4 of an inch shorter than the M12 drill. I'm kind of stumped by that, other than maybe this is an older model. So overall, I would say that I actually really like this drill. I just wish that they had put a trigger on here that you could have a little bit more control with. Because if you've ever done things around the house, like putting up blinds, or curtain rods, or shower curtain rods, or all kinds of stuff, a lot of the times the screws that come in those packages are just trash, and they strip very, very easily. And when you have a screw that's almost all the way in, and the head strips, and you just can't finish and get it in, and then you have to get out the pliers in order to bring it back out, that can be really annoying. And so it's nice to have a trigger that you can just sort of feather and just have it turn just enough. Since I have all the control I need for those more delicate jobs with that Ryobi drill, and since I have all the power I need with that Gen 2 M18 Fuel hammer drill from Milwaukee, this drill doesn't really fit in for me. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me, but it may just be a great drill for you. So, if you don't need a chuck that's bigger than 3/8, and you don't need a trigger that you can feather, and you don't need to get into tight spaces, this might be the drill for you. It is high quality. By the way, I forgot to mention that the reason I bought this was because it came with the rotary tool and the hacksaw, both of which I wanted, and you can see video reviews. I'll leave links in the description below. Well, I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions for me, drop them in the comments. I'd love to talk to you down there. Do me a favor, if you know anyone who might be interested in watching this video, share it with them. I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching the video. I'll see you next time. Okay, that time it didn't start up at all.